Hey guys, we are back with a preview this time, and it looks like what we were talking about last week was correct. We have a Zenkai Awakening for LF Piccolo. Yeah, so Legends Limited Piccolo Zenkai Awakening is coming. Special move arts now nullify his endurance effects. Obtain all of his uniques to get a boost in strike and blast damage inflicted. He also raises enemy strike and blast arts cost, reduces ki, and more. So they didn't really tell us too much. Nullifying endurance obviously is good because his blue card prior to this update didn't nullify endurance. You know, extra strike and blast damage is also good, and then just generic stuff with, you know, regen annoyances with this part of his, I guess, as his upgrade. But I actually am not that annoyed by this. Not a lot of people have this guy at 7 stars for sure. He came out in March. He's not even a year old, and that's. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them Zenkaiing units that are not even a year old, because that just tells you how big the jump in power creep has been since, you know, the early parts of 2020. But I actually am happy he's not Goten, he's not Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and honestly he's not Super Vegeta, because we needed units that aren't Sun Family, that aren't Saiyans, that aren't Fusions to get Zenkais, and I feel like this is like the direction I would have gone in as for the next Zenkai unit. And I feel like this is fine that Piccolo's getting one. I don't have an issue with this at all. But let's go take a look at what he does. I feel like Piccolo is always one of the more, I guess, forgotten LF units in this game. In fact, he probably is the most forgotten LF unit in this game, because he only returned for the first time once Demon King Piccolo got his Zenkai Awakening. And once that happened, you never ran this guy anymore. You just ran Demon King Piccolo every single time because he was way better. But now I feel like this guy's going to take the throne back as like the premium or premier yellow option for regen, which is fine. It should be that way because he's a Legends Limited unit. I just don't want them to go overboard with him, and I don't want them to make him so good to the effect where he just invalidates everything else, like when they did it for Gohan or, you know, those other ridiculous Zenkais like 18 or Super Saiyan 3 Goku, or like, don't make him that good, but make him good enough to where he actually makes regen like one of the more terrifying teams in the meta again. And I think he easily can do that, because regen is still good. It's not crazy good, but it's not bad. Alright, so here we are, Piccolo, Legends Limited, 14 stars. I'm just going to show him at 14 stars because I have a good gauge of how the stats should look. So what's interesting about this guy is, I actually was taking a look at this earlier, and his stat spread prior to transforming is actually pretty bad. 214, 225 for offenses at 14 stars for Legends Limited unit are very bad. It is very bad. Defenses are also pretty bad, considering he's a defense type. But then once you go ahead and activate his transformation, these stats skyrocket. 281,000 blast attack. That's a jump of like almost 60,000. It's like 56,000 increase of blast just from transforming. Usually units don't get that big of a boost from transforming. This is gonna be, because Namek Goku, I think right now, Zenkai LF Namek Goku is hovering at around 320,000 blast attack when he's transformed at Zenkai 7 at 14 stars for me. This guy's gonna eclipse that, I think. We'll see. Actually, he might be around the same level. I don't know if he'll be above 300, because a 40,000 increase for blast attack from Zenkaiing is actually probably a little bit high. So if I had to guess, he'd probably be hovering at around the same 320,000, maybe like 312 to 15,000 mark at Zenkai 7, fully soul boosted. But he's going to have very high stats. Even his strike attack is probably going to be significantly higher, like maybe like 260, 270,000, which is good. Defenses, I mean, he is a defense type, technically speaking. In fact, let's pull up, let's see if we can pull up, I guess we'll pull up like Green Fat Boo or something, or one of the defense type Zenkai units that they've come out with. See if I could, did I skip him? He's right here. Green Fat Boo, right? Zenkai, 14 stars, 5,000. This guy's defenses are crazy. Take a look at one more. Let's pull up 16. 14 star Zenkai, 190, 194. So both these defense type Zenkais are hovering at around 190k plus defenses for both. So I imagine Piccolo is probably going to be hovering around 190k defenses for both when he's transformed as well, which is, you know, you can gauge how tanky he's going to be depending on how tanky you know these characters already are. So I just want to take a look quickly through his kit, and then we'll see if we can sort of look at different things that I would want to see changed. So prior to transformation, his main ability is obviously transform. He restores 100% of his vanishing gauge. This is fine. This doesn't need to change, I don't think. Maybe it like removes attribute downgrade or something. That's it. Like, this doesn't need to do much more than what it's already doing. Vanishing gauge restoration for a unit like this is already very good. So maybe the same thing, and then it just removes attribute downgrades. That's it. Unique ability number 1, the only chance we have of winning is if I go with you. The following effects occur when battle starts. 20% of damage inflicted against, by your allies or your buddy. So he does sort of act as a pseudo support unit, which is nice. And then 60% of blast damage inflicted just straight up. I don't really know if this needs to change. This is already pretty powerful for a unique ability. It's just 80% damage to himself, because he's giving himself 80% damage, and he's giving the whole, his whole team 20% damage. So that's good. Demonic Power restores 20% of damage received after enemy attack is over, and then restores up to 20% on health. Reduces damage received by 30% until combo ends when changing cover. They can maybe bump this up to 40% cover cut. I think that's fair. Maybe make this 25% instead of 20. Again, these don't really need buffs. Like, these don't need that big of changes. I think what they're going to do is put more stock into the additional Zenkai abilities he's going to get, or the additional unique abilities he's going to get from Zenkaiing. So what I want to see from this guy, because he's a defense type unit, and because he's on the regen team, they do mention somewhere on here that he's going to, raise the cost and reduce key and stuff like that. So I guess maybe, you know what they could do is they could add a thing where it's like every time he enters the battlefield, he increases the cost of like strike and blast cards by like 5 for like 40 counts or something. And that just makes it a lot more annoying for your opponent. I don't really know. What does this guy even need? Like, he just needs more stats. If he had more stats, he'd be good. That's just the end of the day. The only problem is you run into LF Gohans, and this guy gets shredded. Like, he gets obliterated by LF Gohan. So I don't know if a Zenkai is going to change that necessarily, unless they give him type nullification, which I don't think they'll do. He's always going to be susceptible to being destroyed by Gohan, which I don't think is avoidable. But that's just the risk that you have with running him. This is also interesting. He gets like the mini Goju to Blue blast effect, so he gets 50% to blast damage inflicted against enemies' armor. This is also really powerful. He actually cancels enemies' attribute upgrades with his blue card prior to transforming, but it's only once only. And then this is healing over 60 counts, which is a long time. And again, 10% blast damage for 60 counts, which is a long time. He also does this. He seals a opponent's card. But it's only for 5 counts, so it's not crazy good, but it can be annoying. And then post-transformation, he gets special move, draw a special move card, or green card, special arts card, restores key by 50, destroys all enemies' cards, and then he like draws his blue card with his green card. This is now, we know for sure, is going to nullify endurance, which is good. This green card is very good. Draw a special move arts card next, 2 times. 80% to the next special move damage inflicted, maybe make this 100%, and then 20% of blast damage for 15 counts, maybe make this just 20 counts instead of 15, I don't know, it doesn't need that big of a buff. Applies the following effects to self depending on the number of timer counts elapsed since transforming. 10 timer counts have elapsed, minus 20 to special move arts cost, cannot be cancelled. Maybe make this minus 25. Actually, you know what I want them to do? He gets card draw speed, yeah. You know what they should do? They should just lower the counts. Like, these effects don't need to be changed as much as these count restrictions need to be lowered, I think. So instead of 10, 20, and 30, what if they did like 7, 15, 20 or something? I think that would be good. So the actual effects themselves don't need to be changed. Change the actual restriction on the effects. I think that's fair. And then the second one is restores 20% of damage received with attack. Yeah, we already saw that. And also gets... also applies the following effects to self if own health is 50% or less. 20% of damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 20%, reduces damage received by 30% until combo ends when changing cover. This is a bad restriction. The fact that he has to be below 50% health for this to activate, I don't like that. Maybe make it like 70% health. That's all he needs to do. Because keep in mind, this buff, this cannot be cancelled blast damage buff, and as well as this buff, because it's battle start, you know, affects when the battle starts. This is applied even after he transforms. That's why he's able to do so much damage even post-transformation, is because these damage buffs are still in effect after he transforms. So he doesn't need many damage buffs, you know, added on to his kit already, because he's already getting that 80%, and especially when you take into account the major stat boost he's getting from Zenkai, like he doesn't need to have that much more, you know, just raw damage pumped into his kit. I think them going on the path of making him just like a very, I guess, intangible fighter in terms of like cost raising, key reduction, I think that's smart of them. But we will end up seeing what they do with him, and then in terms of the team you might want to run with him once he gets a Zenkai Awakening, you can do Yellow, Yellow, Blue, I feel like, because Piccolo, Demon King Piccolo are both very, very good. And then a blue unit you could use, I guess you could just go back to Baby, but Baby just doesn't do any damage. He's a support unit, I guess, so you could fill that role well for these two units. But honestly, you could just do Yellow, Yellow, Green. Yellow, Yellow, Green's not a horrible structure for a team. Obviously, the optimal lineup would be Green, Green, Yellow, but you just run triple Zenkai regen, right? You run Piccolo, Demon King Piccolo, and then Boo. I think that's fair. That's a good option for a team. You could even run, I don't know, something with like Metal Cooler if you wanted to as well. You could run like Majin Buu, Metal Cooler, and then like this LF Piccolo, I guess. But again, my only problem with this LF Piccolo getting Zenkai now is that almost nobody has him at 7 stars. So it's going to be difficult for a lot of people to use him. Anyway, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know down below if you guys are excited for him, if you guys even have him at 7 stars. I will be doing my breakdown video for him tomorrow once the data download comes out, as well as my showcase once he is technically released in the game. So with that said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.